you just wake up?
Wake up, wake up.
The Big Show.
Oh, wow, that's big.
With Glenn, Angel and Tim.
I know which one I'd rather wake up looking at.
On Kiss 92.
We are live on YouTube as well as Facebook right now, and of course live right here in the Kiss 92 studio. We welcome Chef Ivan Brehm, the chef and owner of Nouri Restaurant, as well as the co-founder and joint artistic director of Checkpoint Theatre, Huzir Sulaiman. What's this collaboration about?
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you so much for having us.
I mean, we've got a chef and we've got a co-founder of a theatre, also artistic director of a theatre. I mean, how do the two relate? Maybe Chef Ivan, you can tell us a little bit more about how this came about.
First, we're friends, which helps a lot. And I deeply admire Huzir's work. And one of our sous chefs at the restaurant, Beatrice, actually was a student of Huzir. So in conversation, we were talking about collaborations outside of the kitchen. Bia's like, oh, you should meet this guy. And actually gave me a book with all her notes inside, and the book that Huzir wrote. And I read it, and I'm like, that's amazing. He came for dinner. Mm-hmm. And I managed to cook for him and not lose my cool, which is impressive.
It was wonderful. I think years after Beatrice had been in my class, I get this email saying, "Hi, Prof. I don't know if you remember me. It was a playwriting class I taught at NUS, and she was like, well, I'm now a chef, and I want you to come and meet my boss, and I forced him to read your plays, and he likes them.
Yep.
So, but I came, and my wife Claire and I came for dinner. They were kind enough to invite us. And I was moved to tears because of the emotion that is present in Chef Ivan's cooking.
Right.
So there's all this amazing technical brilliance, and it's modern and it's innovative and it looks great on the plate. But what I said to him, tearfully over dessert, when he came over and said, "How was it?" I'm like, I sensed a mother's love in this, right? There's something very nurturing about his cooking, which you don't really find at that level of fine dining often, right?
Yeah, dining that makes you cry.
Well, if you were
in a good way.
if you were crying at dessert, I'd be crying at the starter.
Wow. But that's it, though. I mean, obviously, when you tell someone, oh, this is going to be a collaboration between theatre as well as a award-winning restaurant, people are going to think, oh, it's dinner theatre, it's dinner and a show. But it's not really like that. Not going to be singing or dancing or ta-da. So how exactly do you work the different elements together?
Okay, it's a very intimate restaurant, Nouri, on Amoy Street. Seats 24 diners a night. And what Chef Ivan did in building that restaurant was to make it a very open kitchen. So the past where everything is cooked is very visible. So that, for me, is a natural area for you to stand and tell stories. Mm-hmm. So when Ivan and I were talking about collaborations, and he's done about 100 over 10 years with different chefs and artists, and I realized that what I wanted is to have him be at the heart of it, because his stories of his life as a chef are so amazing. They're so moving, they're so funny, they're so crazy. And I thought, I want this to be the center of the show. So it's 10-course menu. As you know, Nouri has a 10-course, one Michelin-starred degustation menu of 10 dishes. But these dishes are all linked to stories from his life. So Ivan's going to be telling stories of his life as a chef and his culinary development, accompanied by Ramzi Taha, who's a fantastic young actor who you last saw in Checkpoint Theatre's Secondary the Musical earlier this year. And he's come back and he's helping Ivan tell the story. So it's 10 stories and 10 dishes that accompany it. So he's looking at the dishes that he made at those time, reinterpreting them from the perspective of where he is now as a kind of acclaimed chef who's worked all over the world.
Yep.
So Ivan obviously is not obviously, but he's not going to be the actor that day. It'll be narrated?
No, one of two. He's one of two.
Oh, right, okay.
So both Ivan Brehm and Ramzi Taha are telling the story together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, how interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
freaky.
on the Big Show
Very
TV, we're going to find out a little bit more about Nouri Restaurant and the food that you serve, and we're also going to find out a little bit more about Checkpoint Theatre from Huzir as well. Meantime, here's Noah Khan with The Great Divide on Kiss 92. Okay, so people understand a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more, Chef Ivan, about Nouri Restaurant and the kind of food you serve.
So it actually ties really nicely to what we're doing right now. But the restaurant has been open for 10 years now, which is a milestone in and of itself, right? I think for Singapore especially. When we opened the restaurant, the whole premise was to make food that reminded people of the similarities between them. And so people didn't confuse us for hippies. We decided to throw research at the proposition.
Right.
And so can we verify the proposition that we're more alike than we are different with research? And can we find out how cultures met and exchange, and physiologically, how are we? What's our biology like? Where do humans cross paths, right? And can we make dishes about those touch points, essentially expressing that super beautiful link between humanity? And I guess for me, it was important also being a foreigner here
Yep.
to try to find those links.
Do you still consider yourself a foreigner?
Exactly.
I mean, you've been here for so long, Ivan.
It is home for sure.
Yeah.
It is home for sure. But also because of that, I managed to recognize my place in it, right? And if we could do that to everybody in every culture, then perhaps the world belongs to everybody. And that was really the proposition. Could we make food that made people feel like they belong?
Yeah.
And that worked out.
Well, still on Nouri, Roma, ask him. So you've been, Nouri is your restaurant. It's been around for 10 years. But obviously before that, you've had so many experience in different restaurants, right?
Sure.
Obviously, when we first met, you were at Bacchanalia. And, you had a great start as well at some point with Heston Blumenthal and
Yep.
the Fat Duck. Obviously, different experiences throughout the years, throughout your career. How different is Nouri to all these other places you've worked with?
It's very different. I think we always stand on the shoulder of giants, right? All these people that have trained me are a big part of my life now. But I think we open a restaurant that's a little, I don't know, it's hard, it's brilliant. The idea that we can share so much, there's a very horizontal way of managing people. Where
He doesn't shout at people,
Okay,
Right.
good.
I like that.
That's good.
which is super different from
Yeah.
every other restaurant at that level.
But you're right though, because I mean, as he's talking, as he's speaking, and based on what you said, Huzir, that when you went to the restaurant, you cried at dessert. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of poetry and emotion in the way he's
Yeah.
speaking about what he's doing and where it's come from and where it started.
we
You
talk
you
a
don't
lot
get that a
about
lot.
mindfulness and breath work, and I think
Yeah.
we work on forging these bonds. We can't talk about everybody belonging and then
Yeah.
not having that within your own team.
That's
right?
true,
And
yeah.
Also, the space is a 50-50 men and women space, and actually all our managers, with the exception of one, are women.
Nice.
All of those things, for some reason, create this atmosphere that is just super unique and very clean to work in. Good for the body and the heart.
So it is possible. It is possible to lead in a kitchen without raising your voice and
That's
to
in the
maintain a
play.
calm
Of course.
temperament.
I'm so tired of angry chefs.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
I mean, once upon a time it was trendy.
I think the
just
world is tired.
Once upon a time, shock jocks were trendy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
times have changed. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Okay, let's move on to Huzir right now. Joint Artistic Director of Checkpoint Theatre, co-founded Checkpoint Theatre. Tell us a little bit more about your role and about Checkpoint Theatre.
So we've been around since 2002, and our mandate is to develop, produce, promote original Singapore work. So unlike some of our colleagues in the theatre scene, we don't do foreign plays. Everything is developed in-house from idea to page to stage. We have 12 associate artists and maybe a larger family of another 10 that we work with. So we develop plays, and it takes us 1, 2, sometimes 6 years to work on the script, and then we put it up. And then we publish 2. I think we're up to 5, 6 anthologies. We also do stories in other media. So we've got comic books, we've got illustrated journals, we've had podcasts, we have online film, and now culinary collaborations. So we're sort of pushing the storytelling, taking pride in all of the stories that we have to tell in Singapore.
And is that how you're sort of moving forward with theatre? Because I feel theatre might have changed a lot because of online streaming and the way people are consuming, and people not wanting to sit down for more than 45 seconds because, it's just taking too long. Do you find a change, and is that why you're looking to do collaborations beyond the theatre?
Yes and no. So the change happened necessarily during the pandemic
Yeah.
when theatres were closed. But our great advantage is that we work with living Singapore artists, and we can sit down and say, you have a great story, let's find another medium to tell it in. So hence we did comic books, we did illustrated journals, we did podcasts, we did online films, and then when the theatres reopened, we came back reinvigorated with that sense of interdisciplinary collaboration and telling stories, across different art forms. But on the question of are people's attention spans different, A bit, but people come to theater because they crave that experience
tension,
they
yeah.
cannot get anywhere else. And there's something so magical about being in a room with 200 other people, and it's dark, and you're experiencing the same thing at the same time and in the same place. Unlike the fragmented consumption of content
course,
in
yeah.
every other environment, where you're just looking at your phone in your own room, and we're watching something at a different time. But to feel that energy in a space, to feel that shared experience, and that's something that I suppose political rallies or religious worship services have always understood. The joint energy of people responding to something, giving energy back to the actors, the quality of the silence when they're paying attention, the roar of the laughter, and even just sensing that there's a whole room full of people moved, and you can hear the tissues come out.
It's very sensorial, right?
It's incredibly sensorial.
Yeah.
And the idea of language arcing through space is one that it's a very precious experience that I think our audiences super appreciate.
You know,
Amazing.
Following on what Angel just said, very sensorial. I mean, you talk about energy, you talk about using the silence. All these are tools, right? I mean,
Yeah.
traditionally, when we talk about storytelling, we think about, visually. We think about what you hear. Tell us about now using and incorporating taste from the food into the storytelling.
So, realizing that Ivan is not just a tremendous technical cook, he's also somebody who brings in his entire history and his emotional journey as a chef onto the plate. I think that was something that I thought, well, here is a logical conclusion to every story. He can tell you about grilling fish in his grandmother's kitchen and going with his mother to his first restaurants in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But then when he gives you his reinterpretation, his 2026 interpretation of 3 dishes from the reimagining the memories of his childhood Brazil, then it takes the story to another level. And it's a very precious thing where the story is actually entering into your body. It's becoming part of you, literally. So it's engaging all your senses: sight, taste, smell, the mouthfeel of it. It's quite a beautiful 360-degree experience.
Lovely.
Okay. We're going to be talking a little bit more about a matter of taste when we come back. Traffic update next.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the PIE towards Tuas after Engyo Avenue, a broken down vehicle has been spotted in the same direction on the same stretch after Bedok North Avenue 3. Same situation, car having trouble there. On the PIE towards Tuas after the CTE City exit, an obstacle has been spotted. If you see anything else or know of anything else that's going on out there, you can WhatsApp us 8855
Kiss 92 Traffic brought to you by BYD. Head down to Great World or Tampines 1 to explore the latest BYD models and stand a chance to win a pair of free Minions and Monsters movie tickets.
Welcome back to The Big Show on The Big Show TV. We've been speaking to Chef Ivan Brehm, the chef and owner of Nouri Restaurant, as well as Huzir Sulaiman, the co-founder and joint artistic director of Checkpoint Theatre. A matter of taste is what we're talking about, and that's going to be held from the 18th to the 30th of August at Restaurant Nouri, 72 Amoy Street, and you can get your tickets from checkpoint-theatre.org. All right.
So lots of stuff going on, as Glenn mentioned. This is a dish for every story.
Yeah.
Chef Ivan, if you could tell us what can one expect from the moment they step in from the 18th to the 30th of August?
Yeah, I'll start by sharing that I was absolutely terrified of the fact that this was going to be biographical and about my life.
Okay.
I turned to him and I said, I'm still alive. It feels a little weird.
Which means this opens up for a sequel, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Absolutely. We can do another chapter in a few years.
There you go.
And I think Huzir managed very well to kind of placate some of those insecurities, because just like in the food, the idea behind the story is not to just tell my story, but to look for the universal component in my story so people can connect with what I went through in their own lives, see it in their own lives. And so the dishes also try to kind of evoke that. It would be interesting if it was a dish that told my story, but what's it to you, right?
Yeah,
Like, what
that's
difference
true.
does it make? And so it's a big part of how I cook to try to find that kind of bridge.
Yeah.
And so every dish there specifically lunges into where I'm in the world, the experiences that I've had since I've arrived in Singapore and the things that I've learned here. And so every dish has a little Singaporean DNA into it, even though it tells a story of something that might have happened 20 years ago in some other part of the world. So I think that's a pretty exciting, compelling part of the menu.
I want to know how you managed to just stick to this number of dishes. You're telling your
10.
life story. I mean, how hundreds, maybe thousands of dishes, that represent different times of your life. How did you whittle it down to just 10?
It was Huzir was really helpful with that, and in the process of actually compiling the stories and putting them into like a coherent text. Very quickly, we start to narrow it down to things that are more evocative, the ones that kind of stand out, the memories that are more delicious to listen to. And it's those that we turned into courses. So the text kind of edited the menu, not the other way around. I even tried the other day, and he's like, nope, we're not going to do that. It's on the text already.
Since it is a collaboration with Checkpoint Theatre, how long are people putting aside for each dinner? Is it a 2.5-hour play-ish? What kind of time?
Yeah, I would say it's a 2.5-hour long evening, of which there's maybe an hour and a half of talking and an hour of eating.
Okay, nice. Over 10 dishes. Well, sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will there be alcohol? Is there
Yes.
Is it a pairing menu?
Yeah, I think there is a pairing menu.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
But it's optional.
Okay.
Yeah, those on YouTube would have seen, the crazy look in Chef Ivan's eyes when he said, yes, there will be
We're very
alcohol.
proud of our beverage program, and it's led by a wonderful human, Nicole Roche, who does a phenomenal job. So if I don't do it, she kicked me.
Oh, okay, all right.
But what's super clever is that you don't just have a wine pairing, you also have a non-alcoholic beverage pairing.
Oh, nice.
Which is very
Okay.
clever.
Okay, so if you want to get your tickets, get them early because it starts on the 18th, goes on to the 30th of August. It's checkpoint-theatre.org. Click on events and you will see, you'll be able to get your tickets there.
It's called A Matter of Taste.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and you can also go to the Restaurant Nouri page, and because actually the reservations all go through them.
Of course.
Yeah,
So
on our page you'll also find a link to book.
All right. We're definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Chef Ivan, and thank you so much, Huzir, for joining us this morning. All right, it's 9:22.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by BYD. Head down to Great World